The sun was shining brightly in the vast expanse of the Sahara Desert. The wind was calm for once, carrying with it the sweet scent of blooming desert flowers. This was how one baby Fennec fox named Finnegan started his wonderful day. He stretched his tiny paws and yawned widely, baring his cute little pink tongue and sharp little teeth. Today was going to be an exciting day for Finnegan because his mother, Felicia, had told him they would go exploring outside their den for the first time. He woke up his two brothers, Finley and Fennekin, who were fast asleep, curled up beside him. They too were excited at the prospect of going outside and seeing the world. But before they could embark on their adventure, they had to wait for their mother to finish her breakfast. Felicia was a skilled hunter and had caught a small desert mouse, which she was now happily devouring. Once she was done eating, she licked her chops and turned to her three little kits. It was time for them to start their day. She nudged them playfully, and they tumbled over each other in their excitement. Then they followed their mom out of the den, into the bright light of day. The kids had never seen so much sand all around them before. It was like a sea of golden waves stretching as far as they could see. Their mom had told them about the outside world many times, but they couldn't quite believe it until they saw it for themselves. "Wow!" they exclaimed in unison, their small voices echoing in the vast emptiness. Felicia smiled at her babies. It was so cute to see them so excited about everything. She knew that life in the desert could be tough, but at least it was never boring. She led them away from the den, keeping a close eye on them as they took their first tentative steps into the unknown. As they walked, Felicia taught her kits about the different plants and animals they would find in the desert. She showed them how to identify the edible plants and warned them to stay away from the poisonous ones. She also told them about the other animals that lived in the area, both friendly and dangerous. Finnegan was fascinated by everything he saw. He looked around with wide eyes, taking in all the new sights and sounds. His two brothers weren't as adventurous as he was, though. Finley was a bit scared of everything and clung tightly to their mother. Fennekin was more interested in chasing butterflies than listening to their mother's lessons. Felicia sighed. She knew that she couldn't force her kits to be brave, but she hoped that they would grow out of their fears soon. Otherwise, life in the desert would be very dangerous for them. She stopped walking and turned to face her kits. "I want you to listen to me very carefully," she said. "Out here, there are lots of dangers. There are snakes, scorpions, and eagles that would love to make a meal out of you." She then pointed to a small bush nearby. "That's why I want you to always stay close to me. Do you understand?" Finnegan nodded bravely, but Finley and Finnegan shook their heads. "Oh, Mother, it's so boring to follow you all the time," whined Finnegan. "Yeah, can't we just go explore on our own?" asked Finley. Felicia shook her head firmly. "No, this is not a game. Out here, you need to stick together and look after each other. If anything happens, you need to stay close to your brothers and call out for me. Do you promise me you'll be careful?" Finnegan nodded eagerly, but his two brothers looked away, ashamed of their earlier behavior. "All right," said Felicia, sighing. "Let's continue." She started walking again, and this time the kids stayed closer to her, although they still complained a lot about being bored. After walking for a while, Felicia led her kits to a shady spot under a large rock. It was time for them to rest a bit and catch their breath. As they sat there panting, Finnegan looked around and saw a small lizard darting between the rocks. "Look, a lizard!" he exclaimed. "Can we catch it and keep it as a pet?" Felicia shook her head. "No, we don't keep pets. And besides, that's a desert, spiny-tailed lizard. They're not very friendly creatures." Just then, a large shadow fell over them. The kits looked up and saw a huge bird circling overhead. It was a golden eagle, one of the most feared predators in the desert. Felicia tensed, ready to defend her kits if needed. The eagle let out a piercing screech and swooped down towards them. The kits screamed and huddled close to their mother, burying their faces in her fur. But the eagle didn't attack. It just circled above them for a few moments before flying away. Did it just leave?" whispered Fennekin, his voice trembling. "Yes, it's gone," replied Felicia, her voice shaking slightly. "Come on, let's move to another place." The eagle had scared her badly. She knew that it would have been strong enough to pick up one of her kits, even if she had tried to protect them. She hoped that they wouldn't encounter any more dangerous animals. As they moved from one shady spot to another, Finnegan kept looking around excitedly. He wanted to see another lizard, or maybe a snake. To his disappointment, though, they didn't see any other animals. After a while, Felicia decided to go back home. It had been a good day, but she didn't want to push her luck. She led her kits back to the den, and as they entered the cool darkness, Finnegan felt a sense of relief. It had been fun to explore the outside world, but he was glad to be back home. Once inside, he curled up with his brothers and snuggled close to his mother. He told them all about the lizard and the eagle, and they listened with wide eyes. "It must have been so scary," said Fennekin, shivering at the thought. "It was a bit scary," admitted Finnegan, "but mostly it was exciting. I wish we could go outside more often." Felicia nuzzled her kits. She knew that they would grow up and want to explore the world on their own, but for now, they were still her little babies. She licked them clean and tucked them in for bed. "You three are my pride and joy," she whispered, "and no matter what, I will always be here for you." The kids snuggled close to their mother, feeling her warmth and love all around them. They drifted off to sleep, dreaming of lizards and eagles and all the other wonders of the desert. When they woke up the next morning, the sun was shining brightly again. It was another beautiful day in the Sahara, and the three little Fennec fox kits knew that they were lucky to live in such a wonderful place. They knew that life in the desert could be tough, but as long as they had each other and their mother, they knew that they could face anything. And so, the three little Fennec foxes continued to explore the desert, learning all there was to learn and having many adventures along the way. And that is the story of a wonderful day of a baby Fennec fox.